Hey everybody, welcome back to Still Can't Cook. I'm Kelley, your host. You should know that. You probably do. I want to go right into an update because on my last solo, I talked to you about a date, the Thursday night date. I've been asked repeatedly by people who've seen the show what happened on my Thursday night date, and you're going to be really happy to know nothing happened because I didn't go on it because I make dates and cancel dates all the time because I'm a fucking chicken. I'm so scared to do this. I really am afraid. I think that for me to go on a date, it's going to have to be like really, I don't know, something spectacular has to happen. I don't know how you're going to win me over via text or a phone call at this point. Maybe send flowers before we ever go out. Like there's got to be some really big thing that's going to get me to walk out the door for you. I don't know what it's going to take to get me to actually follow through on these dates. It was not the guy's fault. It was definitely me. And so sorry, buddy, but I don't know. I couldn't pull myself together. It's somehow, I think it should be a priority, and at this moment, it is not a priority to me. So that, that is something I need to sit with, and I will talk about it when it matters, if there's something that changes between here and now and the next time we talk, though I don't really think there's going to be that kind of change. It just doesn't feel like it's something I want to do right now. And I think one of the things that I keep thinking about when it comes to relationships and even getting into another dating relationship is, when you are in these situations, relationships, for me, just situations, when you to try to figure out, maybe this is what I'm trying to figure out in the pre-dating moment, is like, is this guy giving me anything that I want in this? Like, are the texts flowing in a way I want them to go? Are the phone calls coming? Or even when you're still on the app, when you're just texting back and forth on these apps, I give so much. Hey Bob, love that boat you're driving. I don't know. I do this weird on the apps. It's so fucking stupid because you got to comment on the photographs and you don't really know anything about anybody. But I think when you're in a relationship, when it gets past, when you get into a dating, if this ever happens for me again, I think that it's really important that we remember what it is we need when we're in it. I think I tend to give more of what someone else needs and less of what I need, and I'm not really good at verbalizing what I need without having it be some type of argument. One of the things ChatGPT is great with is when I know I'm about to go ham and I'm putting in how I feel. I use it as a therapist and as an editor for all of my crazy fucking thoughts. But this is how I feel. This is what I want to say right now. How do I sound less crazy? How do I sound less aggressive? I literally give it all the details. Like, please basically, if someone else was sending this text message who was sane and not wanting to run through the phone and fucking rip this person's head off right now, how do I make it sound loving and supportive? Meanwhile, I started off with like, fuck you. And like, when your first lines are fuck you and you have to ask ChatGPT how to make it nicer. First of all, thank you, ChatGPT, because you do the right thing. Although I know it uses a lot of energy and people have their things, and a friend of mine told me not to use it because I guess it has more electricity than 800 phones or something, or 8,000 phones. And I backed off. I listened to Michelle. I backed off a little bit. But sometimes when I'm just about to send that crazy text, I do say, how do I fix this in a way that I want to present myself like the people I fall asleep listening to, like I'm very zen, I'm all healthy, and I don't really feel as crazy as I feel right now. So chat helps me do that. It also helps me give myself what I need, because if I respond, here's what my therapist always says: respond, don't react, right? So when I react, I never get what I really want out of it. I come across as demanding and angry and aggressive, and I mean across the board. This is with my friends, partner, family. I think for me personally, I have to really take a minute to be like, okay, don't react right now, because my immediate reaction is, especially if I'm feeling hurt, is definitely to argue. But I'm learning to breathe and to respond. And in that, I've found that I definitely get more of what I want out of the situation. To get what you want out of a relationship when you're also giving your partner what they need, I think it's a complicated tightrope. And because you don't want to be demanding, you don't want to be needy, you don't want to be you can't have expectations, but then it's like, that's such a big word. Yes, I have fucking expectations. I have found that in my specific breakup or ship, whatever the fuck it is I'm in, the on again, off again is the only thing I could relate to because I haven't had a relationship since. So let me just, I continue to refer to that. We're on a, not right now, a ship right now. we're on a timeouter ship. But when I'm in a relationship, I tend to not get what I need because when I ask for it, I'm told that I'm having expectations. You can't have any expectations. I think this is personally to this person. This is specific to this one person in my life because in relationships, like with friendships, I have expectations. If I call you and you don't call me back, I'll call you and go, "What are you doing? How come you didn't call me back? Did you see my text?" Like I wish I could be as free to do that with, and I think I spoke about this before. I wish I could be as free with a relationship as I am with my friends and be like, "Hey, I called you. Where are you, asshole?" And I would do that with all of my girlfriends. But somehow in what I was in, maybe not with my next relationship, I wasn't able to have even the expectation of the slightest normality. And for him, even though there were beautiful, great things, like I might not get a text back, I'd get a fucking pony at my front door, things were not normal, right? So that way, when I wanted basic things, I would probably end up not getting them. So it makes it hard to take that and transition into something new. So which is why I don't go on the fucking dates. I only didn't give him what he needed when I was mad. And then that's when I would speak up for myself and get what I needed, or at least yell and cry for what I needed and never actually get it, because then I end up in a fight, which is never what I wanted in the first place. Which is why I'm in therapy, learning how to communicate and why I use ChatGPT to pretend I'm a kinder, more sane person. And it works. It definitely works. I swear, we should do that one day. We should read my ChatGPTs about what I said, how I started the text, and how it ends with like, "Have a great day." So I'm sending a book like, "You motherfucker, you did," and then it's like, but then make it nicer, make it a little more submissive, have some respect, don't be so emotional, and it's just like, "Hi." ChatGPT has definitely saved me from a lot of really dramatic arguments that I know I didn't want to have before I took a second to respond and not react, which is really difficult, I think, to put that into play with like just about anything. When you're someone who's really, I'm very quick. I'm quick on my text messages. I'm quick-witted. I'm quick. I eat quick. I don't even chew. One of my friends said I don't chew. So when I need to take a second and step back, I feel like I'm wasting time. I feel like that, it's like, I have to actually like really force myself to take a minute between responding to text messages. And it's paid off, because if you really do take that second and reread a text message a few times, sometimes you're like, "Oh, that's not what it said." I have really misunderstood things. And because of learning to take a second and breathe and not react right away and respond after breathing, I have avoided a lot of arguments and misunderstandings, and I would have been wrong on some of them. I am definitely focusing on, in my next situationship, being able to provide what they need and also get what I need. And I wanna figure out how to balance that in a way where in my last relationship, I got a lot of things and I got a lot of beautiful moments, and some, like I said, I didn't get a text back, but I would get a pony at the door, and I never really got a pony, but you got the idea. But sometimes I really do want the text back. I really do want the good night, good morning, how are you? That goes a long way. When you go, if you notice, and now take a look at your own lives, if you don't have a regular communication with somebody and they don't ask how you are, that's like a big deal. I have friends I talk to all the time, and how you doing? How's it going? If you really could see a person in your life that doesn't ask how you are, it's a warning sign. Because if I'm asked how I am by specific on again, off again only, and I'm going to stop talking about him, but just this whole dating thing has got me opened up to like what I did, what do I want to do, what do I want to change, I wouldn't answer how I am. Because I would never want to bombard him with my feelings. I always felt like I learned that was a burden. So I want to be able to change that. I want to be able to answer, how are you, and be honest about how I am, and not have to worry about softening it or not saying too much, or, of course you don't want to vomit on somebody when they ask how you are, but it's like, if you really know somebody well and you're friends or partners in any way, you should be able to answer that question and really answer it and have the person really hear you on the other end. I think a lot of times when someone says, "How are you?" they don't want to really know the answer to the question, and we never really answer it. It's an interesting space I just landed in. I wasn't thinking about that. But how are you, I think, is a pretty powerful text message or actually conversation if you really want the answer. I think it's somehow become a fluff. I think we use it as fluff. What do you think? Do you think we use it as fluff? How are you? How many times do you actually answer that and tell the truth? I mean, when I'm great, imagine being great. Imagine if that's really the truth all the time, that one word. How do you feel? Oh, I'm great. How are you? Perfect. No. so many things we could be saying, but we minimize it to the perfect or the great or good, you. Fine, thanks, you. I mean, when's the last time you were actually fucking fine? That's an annoying word. I don't think I'm ever fine. Fine is like, you're not, it's like two in between for me. I mean, looking fine is one thing. I'm avoiding the dating because I don't know how to get what I want. No, that's not true. I don't know. I'm avoiding the dating. I'm avoiding the dating because dating is stupid. And I think I'm going to have one of those love stories where like I walked on the block and we bump into each other and and it sparks and all that stuff's going to happen. So that's what's going to happen for me. It's going to be amazing. But I guess I got to leave my house to have that done. I think that romantic comedies have fucked us up completely because where is this? Where is this love? How come I don't have the guy next door with the horse ranch whose wife passed away, not that I want anybody's wife to be dead, or who's, never met anybody and family left him the farm and he's just alone looking for a simple woman to love. Like I'm there. I don't want any of that. Imagine me being a simple woman to love. There are people out there cracking up right now who know me. Me on a farm, that would work. That's why I'm not in love, because I haven't met my cowboy. I'm gonna laugh off my eyelashes. Growing up in the 70s and 80s, there was a different type. It's a very different type of romance comedy when I was a kid to what they have now. Like John Wayne had the movie. What was the John? I'm not going to think of it, but there was an Irish film with John Wayne that used to play around St. Patrick's Day, and it was like bar fighting and like dragged by the hair kind of stuff. I would never be okay now. And growing up, I was like, yeah, that's what I want. I want that guy. Like, no, I don't want that guy. I ended up, I've had that guy. No one wants that guy. That guy is like this, the guy that you think is going to be walking through the barn, fighting for you and dragging you out, and it's probably going to end up in jail. So it only looked good in the movies when they were allowed to do that in the movies. It's all changed now. But I think it's really probably on us individually to figure out what our things are and what's going to get us past the text message to the date, to the dating, to the love, to the happily ever after or whatever, if that's even possible. And then am I in my happily ever after just me? That's another thing. Like maybe not everybody's meant. I think I'm meant to be with somebody. I do. I think I'm too much of a loving person. But then if I have the one person, which I've had, and devoted all my time and energy into loving them, I do know from my friends, and they'll speak for this at some point when I can drag them all on the podcast. But I think that I kind of neglected friendships for the relationship in a way that like it took time spent, not phone calls and this, but like physical time was always definitely spent in the relationship, and then the phone calls were for the friends. I missed a lot of things with my girlfriends, and I think that maybe that would be another thing that I'd like to change if and when I'm in another relationship, is that I really want to be able to divide my time up more equally and have my partner spend time with my friends like I spend time with their friends. It was not an even playing field on any level in the last situation. When speaking of meeting someone else, the thing that keeps coming up though, and it happens over and over again when I am meeting people online and dating, is this ick factor, right? This is now, I think we're overkill on the ick, but I had a few things that were like definite yucks, right? The yuck for me is the ick now. But we would say these things were definitely yucky. You want nothing to do with it. They've now become icks. And there's so many of them. Like when you're talking to someone online and they jump to something sexy before they ask, how are you? Immediately like, oh, I find you on the dating apps. It's like, is it okay to say you're sexy? And it's like, yeah, thanks. And then it's like, does it turn you on? Like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? When the second text, no, you blocked now, bye. What do you mean, is it okay to tell you sexy? You literally immediately cut to him jerking off while he's talking to me. Like, no one needs to think that. No one needs to. I definitely do not need to think that that's what you're doing. And when you get that little icky feeling in your body, you're like, oh, that is what he's doing. And then it's like weird questions about like, I don't know. I don't like, I'm saying I don't think he asks enough questions. And then when the guys ask too many questions, I'm icked too. I think everything is icky now. I think we've over icked. I think because it's so hard to figure out what we want that we are, we used to make those lists, right? Like 5 things you like and 5 things you don't like. Now it's just like everything you don't like all the time. I don't think we stop to think, I don't know how to do this anymore. I don't know how do you date? How do you do any of this? Because as I'm talking, I'm getting confused. So I want a guy to ask questions, but then really when I'm thinking back on one of the things that's an ick is when someone says too much on their profile, talks too much, shares too much. Then you start to talk to somebody who doesn't gross you out by simply their profile. You open up a line of communication, which becomes text messages. And then if they say one thing, yuck, you get icked out again. I don't think this is going to work. We got to figure out a new thing. We went from normal meeting each other dating to now these online datings. I don't know, it's going to be like fucking spaceship dating. What are we doing? What's the next step from this? There's a friend of mine lives in my building is going on speed dating. And I couldn't show up in a room full of people who all knew they were there to date. I think that's probably, it might work for people, this like meet up, greet up, date things, but like get the fuck out of here. That means every single person in this room is that desperate to meet somebody that they came here to spend like speed date. Think about what that means. It's like, nope. It's like when we're home, no one knows which way you're swiping, but you're getting actually physically, you're swiping on the left, right? Swipe left is right. Right is keep, left is yes. So imagine getting swiped left in person to your face. Oh my God, I don't have the ego for that. I'm too insecure for any of this. I'm too insecure when I'm on the dating things. If I am swiping right and it's not an immediate match, I have to stop for a second. Because I'll go like without doing it for a week. So I will not touch that thing. When I get back on, I expect everyone that I see to have already liked me. And it's crushing to your ego when you swipe and when it says immediate match, I'm like, oh, I'm such a babe. I'm an online babe. When I look at my age range, and I'm not kind of a babe in my age range. Not so much in Manhattan because girls my age look fabulous here, but like Midwestern my age, no problem with you guys in the Midwest. But people who don't have to compete on the street. It's hard on these streets. But I think for my age, when you go through, you feel better about yourself. At least I do. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I find like really foxy chicks who are like still tight skinned and great bodies, and I need to know what kind of proteins they're having. But a lot of times you go through and go, oh no, I look pretty good for my age. But when you swipe and they don't match immediately, I sat with my friend John, and we were doing it together, and he was like, women have a lot more likes, matches. We have a better variety than they do. But I was like, oh, every time I swiped right, we had connected, and I think God was on my side, just to show off in front of John. And then when I did it alone, it didn't happen. I felt really bad about myself. So yeah, speed dating, not for me. I think I don't know if you're allowed to say, I don't want this person to leave. I don't even know how this works. Like, do you automatically have to speed date, and then, how does it work? Deanna, do you know how it works? Do you speed date and then get to pick? Or do you get to stay in the seat longer? How does it work? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Have you heard of speed dating?
Yeah, of course.
So so you know how it works, right? It's just something that, yeah. So I'm wondering if like...
I assume that they have to sit in the seat and then they rotate and then it's a rating system.
And then they pick you after. Do you think you...
Don't you get like a message after?
I would die if they did it when you were there. Imagine if they were there. If you sat there. A long time ago, not a long time ago, actually, 5 years ago, I rented a strip club for on again, off again's birthday. And in the strip club, I had no idea. I didn't know what I was doing, right? I had help booking this party in Vegas. Now you just keep in mind what was going on here. We had fireworks and dinner, private dinner, and then we went to the strip club. And I thought I was renting a room in the strip club, but in fact, it was like a private room, that kind of room. Who knows what we could have done if we wanted to, but we're not that crazy. Well, I'm sure some people that were there would have been. But anyways, us and our friends, we walk in, and here I come in, and there are women lined up at the bar, probably like 11 women, 10 or 11 women, and the manager said, pick 3 or pick 4, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? And he said, pick the girls you want to keep in the room. And I was like, I all of them? And he was like, what is it? I'm not eliminating. What am I going to say? Like, one's better than the other? I was like, how much are they? Well, this actually happened. It was like one of the worst. I was like, I don't even know how gross I feel about this, but I felt grosser having to eliminate somebody. That's what I feel about speed dating. Could you imagine waiting till they picked your number? Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, I kept all the girls. It was fun. No one had sex. It wasn't like that, but it was like a sexy kind of fun adult drinking and girls dancing around. But I kept all of them. He was paying the bill clearly, but it turned out to be a really fun night. But I could not look at those women and be like, oh yeah, I want 1, 2, and like get the no. So that's how I feel about speed dating. I think I would probably feel like one of those women. I would definitely feel naked in my head, although I look good naked. Still, I don't want to be standing around naked in a room full of people like waiting for someone to pick me. So that's very Bunny Ranch-esque, and anyone who watched the Bunny Ranch knows what I'm talking about. So that was a Dennis Hoff reference, and I actually knew Dennis Hoff, and those of you who do not, he owned the Bunny Ranch, which was a TV show on either HBO or E or whatever, and it was a brothel, and girls would come out and they would line up and people would pick them. And I, in fact, am too insecure for any of that, and I would be in the corner crying. So that would be me. I'd be a horrible hooker. Oh, my parents would be so proud of me for this conversation I'm having right now, how I paid for all the girls to stay in the room. But I did the girls. I felt like that was a power move on my part. I was like, all you girls, stay. Even the lady with 1 tooth. I'm kidding. They all had teeth. So when you are in a situation like we were in that room, right, with all these really sexy women who are strippers, not hookers, but strippers, dancers, half-naked entertainment, or naked, actually they are naked entertainment. It's surprising how fabulous women's bodies are. Beautiful in all shapes and sizes, I think. That was the thing with the room. I'm like, I'm not letting anybody go. Short, tall, bigger. They were all, women were all different sizes and all just as beautiful. But when you're in the room with that type of sexual energy, it's quite intimidating to be like a normal person and not have that sexy thing going on. And trying to tap into your own sexy when that kind of sexy energy is in the room. You do feel sexier when that kind of sexy energy is in the room. But I was looking at my partner at the time, on to get off again, and seeing how he was looking at them and wondering, how it must be when you're, I'm jumping here, when you're a man or boy, people of all the genders, I imagine, I can't just make this about boys and men, is the porn industry in general, and how for women watching porn, growing up and thinking that is what it is like. I don't think. Here's the thing, I've seen porn, and the only thing that it would do that it's done for me is raise my expectations of what a man's body, what it can and cannot look like. In shapes and sizes. More women's natural bodies look like women who are in porn than a man looks like the lead of a male porn, like of porn stars. Male porn stars have very large penises. I don't know if they all have that, but I think that that's kind of a requirement. Where women are all different shapes and sizes, and though there's fake breasts, it's obtainable. The thing that's throwing all the wrench into this is the way in which the sex acts happen in these things. This is what I think the problem is. I think it is completely different to watch porn and to then have actual sex. I think those two things, it's never the same. I had a bartender once say, he said he met a girl, and you'll know who you are. I'm not going to say your name because you're married now. But he said he met a girl and he went home and he goes, oh my God, it was like a porn star. She was talking to me. She was telling me what she wanted. And he's like, shh, I jerk off to this. I do not fuck to it. So, by the way, I'm not going to be on any kind of Disney program, I guess. Disney's not going to be my sponsor. But that, I think, comes into play with a lot of time. I think if you learn sex through porn, and I think more men learn that than women learn that through porn. I think we immediately know that that's not what it's going to be like. It's not actually what we want it to be like most of the time. I'm only speaking for myself, whatever you like, whatever rocks your socks. But I think men expect women to like the things that the women in the porns are liking, and none of us do. Most of us don't. That's all. People I know don't. Whatever is, again, we all have our kinks. I can't make this everybody. But I think if that's where you're learning how to make love to somebody, you're learning the wrong way. There's a softness that's missing. Unless there's probably, I wonder if there's rom-com porns. I wonder if there's romantic comedies that are porn. Romantic porns. There probably are romantic porns that have like a gentler side to it, like lovemaking. Do you think? Having men believe that that's how women want to be treated sexually, or that that's how we're going to behave sexually, is an unrealistic way of looking at sex. And I think sometimes causes a very unsatisfying sex life, is what I think. That's my opinion on porn. and how there should be some other. That's what we're going to do, Deanna. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to make romantic porn. I found my calling. I will not star in this romantic porn. I wanted to sell. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to make romantic porn so that men, boys, women know what lovemaking really looks like. And it's not in the backseat of a car with 7 of your friends watching with your overalls. Back to the cowboys. Maybe I do have a cowboy thing. I just brought in overalls into the sex conversation. Maybe I only watch cowboy porn. I've actually never seen a cowboy porn. I'm going to watch one now, though, after the show with Deanna. I feel like I'm talking about things that are making me uncomfortable, and I talk about everything. So the fact that I'm getting squeamish about the conversation, I've jumped the shark. And do you know what jump the shark means? Does anyone know what jump the shark means?
No.
Okay. Jump the shark, for my listeners and my viewers, was a website, and a website referring to when you knew a TV show was going to end, because on Happy Days, Fonzie goes to Florida, I think it's Florida, and he jumps a shark on his motorcycle, and that, in fact, was when we knew Happy Days was ending. So this website was dedicated to the moment you knew classic TV shows were ending. You know, whenever you bring in this, like there's a random cousin that comes to live with them, or there's a new family member ends up there, or one of the main characters dies, or someone gets a new anything. So it's called Jump the Shark, and it means when something's ending. So I use the reference a lot, and I'll say, I just jumped the shark. And some people, my age group, understand what that means, and then I say it, and my producer looks at me like I have 17 heads, and she doesn't know what it means. So for those people who don't know what jump the shark means, it's a reference to when you are just at the end, you're done. And I jump the shark sometimes. This episode of Still Can't Cook is brought to you by BetterHelp. The sun is out, the birds are chirping, and apparently that means you're supposed to be thriving. Yeah, no pressure, right? Everything's blooming, the days are longer, your friends are all doing sunset Pilates. Meanwhile, you're like, I'm just trying not to spiral today. Just because the season is changing does not mean that everything in your life magically gets easier. In fact, sometimes spring brings more pressure. To feel good, to do more, to be more. And that's why Mental Health Awareness Month is such a great reminder. Taking care of your mental health is not seasonal, it's essential. Whether you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or just want someone to talk to, therapy can always help. BetterHelp has been connecting people to licensed therapists for over 10 years, with a network of over 30,000 providers. It's all online, designed to fit into your life. You can do your sessions on the phone, video, or even just on chat. And if your first therapist just doesn't feel like the right fit, you can switch at any time with no extra cost. So if spring feels like pressure instead of peace, just know that help is there. We're all better with help. Visit BetterHelp.com today to get 10% off of your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/cook. Now let's get back to the show. I'm going to move on to my pet peeves, because it does bring me into one of my big pet peeves. And that is, we're talking about sex, we're talking about porn, we're talking about affairs. See how that goes? I think it's extremely irritating when someone is clearly interested in someone else while you're in a situationship, and they remove their attention from you, and you know that it's because there's someone else involved. If someone is in a relationship, if any of you out there in a relationship where there's been some infidelity, and marriage, if that's your thing and you forgive or whatever the story is, good for you. But some of us have been in dating relationships where it's open is not the right word, because open means that I'm in and open and I'm aware of it, and no. So that's never been an open relationship. But I've been in a situation where I found out later that there was somebody else. And when you have that happen, I don't know, 40 times, you learn from it. By 41, I was smart. When you see these clear signs that the attention is being taken from you and shifted, it's like, if I'm talking to or rapping with or having an affair or fooling around with somebody else, you're never going to know it. It's never going to happen. I'm going to be slick enough to text I will tell you I got a business meeting. I won't answer the phone right away, but I will give the text. Oh, in a meeting, whatever it is, whatever story I would make up. I haven't had this happen, but I know I would be good at it, and I would not let the person know that that's actually what's happening. But there are people who are so stupid that they don't even know how to cover up having an affair. It's like, he hasn't called in a week, and he's not returning my text messages, and Well, clearly he's with somebody else. Oh no, he's working, or is it? No man loves their job that much. No, ma'am. Mm-mm. And same for her. If I'm not answering for a week, if I'm not texting back, if I'm not giving a shit that you haven't texted, I'm having an affair. Like there are, and I mean affairs again. For lack of a better word, a fling, a affair means that there's a commitment and there's a broken thing. I know it doesn't always have to be a break. Just if you are in a relationship that isn't one-on-one monogamous and you are aware of what the signs are, limit the signs. If you don't want me to get fucking aggravated or go, hey, I know there's someone else, then don't make it so obvious that there's someone else. Does that make sense? Like, do you guys have this happen to you? When I'm preoccupied, if I have something going on that's really filling me up, then of course I text less, do less. Like I was just saying, I did this before with my friends, right? When my relationship was at its greatest and I spent less time with my friends and they felt the loss. So in a relationship, if you don't want the person that you're always going to come back to. I think a lot of people have the forever person, or maybe it's not. Maybe I'm in a very isolated situation. I don't know. Let me know. I don't know. If you're going to have an affair, and if you're married, let's just say if you're married and you have an affair, like be slick about it. Be slick, unless you want to get caught. But if you make it obvious to your partner that your emotions, that your attention, that your efforts are no longer going towards them, there's more chance that they're going to know and they're going to look. Don't give a person a reason to look. I remember a long time ago, I went into my partner's phone. I would never do that again. I did it a second time because he was sick, and that was another whole shit storm that happened. I would not do that again. Though, if someone said, hey, Kelley, would you check the phone? I clearly want to be comfortable enough to be able to do that. But going in and looking for things, you're always going to find something. There's always something, if someone grabbed my phone right now and looked at it, I probably have a heart from a guy that I never had anything relationship with. But if you want to have it being upsetting, it's like, why is this guy giving you a heart? If you're looking, you're going to find something. And if you're going to find something you don't leave, you're an asshole. If you're going to look and what are you going to just look to fight? You look, find what you need to find, and then leave the relationship, or don't look at all. Because all you're doing is wasting time with arguing, and you're not leaving, so put the phone down, stop looking. I learned the hard way. Dumb. Don't snoop. Snooping is bad because you're always going to find something you don't want to see. And if you're not willing to leave, then you lose credibility. Beep, beep. I can speak firsthand on that. So don't bother looking in the phone unless you're ready to go. But if you're going to have an affair, don't be so obvious. That's my only point. I think if you respect someone, you should not give them something to worry about. And if something is fleeting, and I don't know if it has to be even full-on sexual, just attention from someone else, don't let the person that you're coming back to be aware of it. Or be upright and fucking tell it. Like, I am in a place right now where if I was told that my ex-partner was seeing someone else, hand to God, I would be okay with that. And I go, oh, that's what's happening. I know he's coming back anyway for friendship, for whatever. We're each other's people. We'll hang out. We'll go to the theater together. It'll be fine. But it's the sneaking around thing and the lack of attention, I think, that is even worse than finding out about the affair. Having someone miss you for just text, just give the call, And I guess imagine if you live together, it's like, come home from work or whatever the situation is. I don't know. It is a pet peeve of mine. It's annoying. It's personally upsetting to me. So I'm fixing myself live on the air with you guys. And I think that when I'm conscious of someone else having someone's attention, it upsets me. So I'd rather you be a better liar or tell me the truth. Be better at it or don't do it. There's another thought. But I don't think that's an option. On the vein of lying, the other pet peeve I have is the Ozempic versus dieting and life's changing, like a whole, lifestyle changes. If you are taking a GLP shot, a weight loss shot, or going to the gym, or changing your lifestyle, or doing, I did keto once, I lost so much weight doing keto. But if you are doing any of those things, what I believe most people are doing are all of those things. Like, I have a lot of friends who are taking the shot. There's a way of doing it. What I do, because I do the shot, is Monday through Friday, I take a certain amount. It's called microdosing on the shot, because when I was at my most numbers off the menopause, I was 30 pounds overweight for myself. The world judge it as you want to judge it. I know my weight, I know what I'm supposed to look like, and it absolutely works, and it helps me. And then I went off of it, and I ate and drank like an animal again, and stopped working out. And so now I'm back on, I don't know what mine is called that I take, but it is a needle, it is a weight loss shot, and I also do my Pilates, and I don't, in fact, change my diet. I know if I added the diet thing into it, I would be cake. But what I find annoying is when people are doing all of it and they say they're not. It's like, I know people who are doing the shot and aren't working out and they are losing weight. I know people who are doing the shot and are working out and are losing weight. I know people who are doing the shot and are lying about it and are saying that they're working out. It's like, let's just be honest. Everyone's doing the shot. It's definitely faster. It's probably not as healthy. I don't know what the health, I haven't looked too much into it. It did work for me. But I think that one of the things a lot of people are uncomfortable with is honesty about weight loss and getting healthy, like getting back into shape. I know people who are like strong, who work out a lot, are very uncomfortable saying that they're having a little help. But a lot of them are. Like I know friends of mine who are like trainers and working out every day who are also on a weight loss shot. I think some people are uncomfortable admitting that they need a little extra help and that they're taking the shot. And then at some point in the relationship or in the conversation, amongst friends, it does end up coming out. We're like, I fucking knew it. I thought that was going on. But it's so many people are using it that I don't think it should be, you should be uncomfortable saying if you are or you aren't. And again, in the same vein, everyone has the right to their privacy. So I'm not saying you have to reveal what your secrets are. But it is, when you kind of know it's happening and people are saying it isn't, it's just strange. It's come on, tell the truth. I shoot myself in the belly. I have little spots for when I shoot myself in the belly because I'm terrible at it. And I do everything too quick. So I shoot myself and end up bruising myself. One of my other pet peeves about the weight loss shot is if you don't need to take it and you're taking it. Like I know people would say that about me who see me covered, but people who actually know, I'm 10 pounds overweight for sure for myself right now. Was 30 pounds overweight, but now I'm definitely 10 pounds overweight, and this will help me get there quicker. But there are people who are like really skinny, really muscular, really don't need it. And I think maybe, tell me if I'm wrong, it could give you like a boost of energy possibly. Maybe that's what it is. I know that when I had my numbers tested, people do this, the B12 shots, to get more energy. And it turned out that I had too much B12 in my system, which is crazy, but I was doing a lot of drips at the time. I don't know, I'm just gonna tell you so many stories you don't need to know about me. There's Kelley, the girl with the high B12 level. If you take the weight loss shot and you're already thin, I think maybe it gives you a boost of energy, or maybe it just suppresses your appetite. I don't know. But I know that it definitely works. So little pet peeve is people who take the shot and deny it. But again, at the same time, why is it my business? It really isn't my business. See, I fixed myself. I told you I did that again. I just learned a lesson here. It's none of my business if you're taking the shot or not. Why do I have an opinion on that? I have a lot of opinions for someone who should mind my own fucking business. I'm on a weight loss shot, and I do know some of the side effects. It does minimize my appetite, but not a lot because I eat McDonald's. I had pizza yesterday. I have ice pops. First of all, let's talk about ice pops. Do you have an ice pop thing? Anybody have an ice pop thing? Okay. So I have an ice pop thing. I used to do the push-up pops, the plastic pops, and you freeze them and they have mint delis. I used to buy, in Brooklyn, when I used to go up to see my parents, by the Sheepshead Bay train station, I would buy a box of the big sippy, I don't know what they're called, but they're long and they're plastic and they come in different flavors, and it's orange and grape and cherry.
Freeze pops.
Freeze pops.
Okay.
So I used to eat freeze pops, but I would buy a case of them, and then I would eat 30 of them, and then I would crash with a sugar crash, and I'd wake up with a sugar hangover. I love freeze pops. They're still delicious. You can still get them at delis. I no longer have them in my home, but I now have natural fruit pops. I forgot I had them, and last night I was having a whole feel bad for myself moment. I wanted some ice cream or something sweet, and I ordered my Haagen-Dazs, which is my favorite, chocolate Haagen-Dazs, and I have ice cream every night. If you don't know that, get to know me. I eat every night. I have ice cream. But last night, the ice cream came, and the guy left it out too long. My Instacart guy gave me chocolate milk, and when ice cream gets refrozen and it gets the brown crispy, I can't eat it. I hate the freezer burn is gross. So I was disappointed in my ice cream situation last night, and I turned to my ice pops. And I swear, I had 7 ice pops, 7 in a row. And then I would just keep eating them. And I shared them with Oliver. Oliver loved them. But yeah, I have a sugar thing. So the ice pops, I used to eat the ones that used to push up, and I used to get really bad sugar hangovers. But these, though it was far too much sugar, they are all natural, like it's healthy pop. Man, look, I'm salivating. I'm gonna have an ice pop right after we're done. I might even have an ice pop on the show. Anyway, ice pops. 'Tis the season to have an ice pop, so I support your decision to have one if you want one. I find that I always have something to complain about, and it's become very difficult for me to stay positive. Like, I have a lot to be grateful for, like a lot to be grateful for, from my health to a great apartment, great friends, freedom. I have, and other things, I feel bad talking about all the things I have because I find so much to complain about. It's a struggle for me to stay positive, and I can't figure it. I found myself yelling at myself this morning. I wake up and I'm having an entire, I don't know, did you call me, did you text me, and I'm fucking complaining to myself as I'm making my beautiful bed in this beautiful house with a beautiful son and my dog, complaining about it and not getting a text message. Like, shut the fuck up, Kelley. Shut up. Be happy. You psycho. What the fuck do I have to complain about? Like, I walked down the street, walking Oliver today, talking into my iPhone, hear the things, walked, a lot of people can't do that, down the street with the dog that I love, healthy, with an iPhone, all those things, nothing, shut the fuck up. How are you even complaining? That being said, because I do complain too much, takes the iPhone and talks about what she's thankful for on the iPhone. What is going on, Kelley? Stop complaining. I get mad at other people complaining. I get mad. It's always fucking negative. Oh my God, I don't shut the fuck up about what's wrong. Things are great. Things are great. And I will find the one tiny little thing. Here's the facts. When I'm not fighting with on again, off again, I'm not fighting with on again, off. What the fuck am I picking apart? What do I care if it's been 12 hours? And so like, whew, you're nuts. I'm a little crazy. I will walk down the street with my dog and get mad at someone for not moving out of the way of the dog. Meanwhile, my dog needs to pick his fucking head up and be aware of a person. But I get mad at the person, not my dog, because I want to find something to be mad about. I am a nitpicker. I've just decided I'm self-proclaimed nitpicker. Probably not self-proclaimed. My friends are probably saying I don't even know it. I can say something positive. I always feel like I have to even it out. So if I'm like, oh, this is all fabulous, I go, I'm fabulous, but I still have to lose 10 pounds. Like, I have to find a way of, why not just be happy? Why do I need? What is this incessant need to find a problem? And it's not, I don't do it with everybody. Like, I don't push my problems, but if you call me and say, how are you? I will give you 1,000 things that are great, but I will always have this one problem. And I'm annoyed at myself for it. See, look, my new problem is being annoyed at myself. I just brought a new problem into my problems. Oh my God. I sleep with the fucking positive affirmations. I wake up and I write my gratitude. I thank everything. I'm now making my lists. And still, in the back of my head, I'm telling you, it's right there right now, but he still hasn't responded to my last text. What am I doing? Why can't I just be positive all the time? Is it possible to be positive all the time? Like, I know it is a work, like you have to work at it, and I don't mind working at it, but there is this fucking voice. I remember when I quit smoking, I used to say that, it's gone now, but when I first quit smoking, the don't quit voice was way louder than you should have a cigarette voice. And when I was smoking, it was the opposite. The you should have a cigarette voice was really loud and the quit smoking was really quiet. Now I'm like, stay positive, stay positive, stay positive. And that little voice is going, but I didn't call you back. What the actual fuck is going on? Then I'm thinking it's hormonal. I'm blaming menopause for that too. I'm like, maybe this is a menopause thing. I bet when I was 30, I'd be happy right now. Well, if I was 30, I'd be happy right now because no one at 30 should be having the life I have. It's not that fabulous. But yeah, people at 30 have better lives than me. That was for the comic timing of that line only, not the facts. I'm not that vain and stupid. People have much more and better. I'm just blessed, and it's good enough, right? It's like, Jesus, shut up. I wish I had a twin. How about that? I want a twin person. I want to jump out of myself and tell myself to get a grip sometimes. I think I've been so programmed not to just sit in the happiness. It's like we're allowed, again, you're allowed to say you feel overweight. I'm comfortable saying when I feel overweight. I'm not comfortable saying when my body looks great. And I have said in the past, and I've gotten shit for saying like, oh, your body. Yeah, I'm allowed to say what sucks, but I can't say what's great. So I think somewhere in my own brain, that still lies true, where I'm like, this is so great, oh, but something's gotta suck. I almost feel like I make my own sucky moment. like finding, instead of finding the silver lining, I find the little sucky moment. And I hate it, and I want to stop doing that. It really is so time consuming and such an energy waste, because putting your feet on the floor and making your bed is a gift in itself. And I really do, when I take a step outside of my fucking psycho brain, I go, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. But then that little voice, but you really need to get your neck done, and because you look really good. And by the way, your hair's not growing. And then I just hear the little negative. How do you shut those voices off? I definitely am more positive than I am negative. And I don't know if you ever do eliminate it. Is there a way to shut it off? Those little voices where you didn't get what you thought you should get, or it's not exactly how you wanted it to go, or you don't look exactly how you think you should be. Like, I was here the other night with a group of friends, and they had asked to see the show. And I'm so blessed, right? I'm like, I love this, and it's great, and you guys are digging it, and I'm so honored. Then I put myself on my own television. I've watched me, of course I've watched me, at nauseum, to be honest, because I need to watch all of them, but over and over and over. But to watch yourself on your own television, it was a big screen TV, and me, and I'm like picking apart. I'm like, what the? I have a podcast. Shut up about what shut up. Pick. I pick. I nitpick on everything. I need to work on, see, I'm nitpicking on my nitpick. I'm overdoing my complaints. All right, everybody, let's do a group Zen moment about what we're positive for. Let's all be thankful. Let's all say thank you for today and sharing this moment. Thank you for the ice pops we're going to have. I'm going to have too many of them. Thank you for guys who don't watch porn and actually know how to have sex. Well, they can watch porn and know how to have sex. Thank you for people who take Ozempic and tell the truth about it. Thank you for, what else we thank you for? Thank you for the guy who understood why I broke the date on Thursday. And thank you for men who ask how you are, or people in general who ask how you are. See, those are all the things we should be thankful for. There's so many more things, but I'm already annoyed about something in my own head. I just made myself angry again. I can't even tell you why. I need help. That's why I need you guys. I had a friend that said to me once, it's okay to talk about everything that's great and not validate it with the things that suck. You're allowed to have a great day. But am I? I don't know. I kind of find a reason not to all that. Not that I find a reason not to have a great day, but I find those little reasons to get aggravated and really obsessively think about the one little thing that isn't going right when there's 99 things going right. And then I have to do it alone or with certain friends because I don't want anyone else thinking I'm negative. It's a real struggle to try to be perfect for you guys. It's a struggle. And thank you. I'm thanking you. One of the things I'm thankful for is you all for coming back every week and tuning in and watching me and subscribing and reviewing. Please, please, please subscribe and review. Wait, I got my first fan letter. I didn't talk about that. I got a fan letter and I got an inbox telling me that I was really, really funny and that they were honored and they love my work. So I have 2 fans. If you guys have any questions you really want me to answer on air, just send them to me and I will. And if you want me to say your name, I will. The person who wrote me the email didn't say I can say her name, so I'm not going to say it. And the person who inboxed me, I'm going to ask them. So if you're watching and you want me to say your name, I will. That letter was fantastic. Thank you so much. Came along with the picture. We'll talk about that later. And thank you for the inbox on Instagram saying I was hysterical and amazing. And thank you guys for just being here. But if you do have any questions you want me to ask on air, I'm going to answer it for you on air. I promise I will. And clearly I'll talk about just about anything. So ask away. I will answer the questions. But thank you so much. And when I do my gratitude, I promise I am grateful for you. I promise. And I'm not that big of a complainer like this much. And thank you for coming. And I'm grateful for you. I swear when I zen out, you guys are what I'm thankful for. And I appreciate you coming back every week. And I will be back next week. Thank you so much. Hey guys, thank you so much for showing up for another episode of Still Can't Cook. Subscribe to us wherever you listen to your podcasts, on YouTube or any other podcast provider. And if you're on Instagram or TikTok, please follow us at Still Can't Cook. Love to have you guys back every week. So happy that you joined us and look forward to seeing you next week.